Good morning, everyone. I'm excited again today. I do love my life, really, I do. I interview such wonderful people. And today I'm here with Ali Hoswell. His real name is Ali Alasdair, and I'm just going to call him Ali most of the time. Yeah, I'm really excited because I invited Ali to come on and speak with us today because he's from Cornwall. And some of you may or may not know, but I've got Cornish heritage. My mother's Cornish, and I spend a lot of time in Cornwall. And, so it's dear to my heart. And then when I saw his books, as you probably know, I used to be a teacher and I used to teach early years. So I'm particularly interested, Ali, yes, in the books that you've done as well. I know they're for adults as well. So let me introduce Ali a little bit more. He used to be a teacher. He's been a primary school teacher for about 10 years, and then he reached a turning point. And fabulously, he didn't wait till he was retired like me. He's actually taken up his creativity, his art, his acting, his writing, and he's bringing it all together. So I'm really excited to be able to talk to him today. That was wonderful. So good morning, Ali.
Good morning. It's lovely to meet you and lovely to speak to you.
Thank you. And whereabouts are you in Cornwall?
So I live just outside of Camborne, so between Camborne and Madrid.
Camborne. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have much of an accent. Have you moved out of the area over the years to teach?
Yeah, well, I travel around quite a lot, but I am Cornish, so I've lived here my whole life. I was born here in Cornwall, and yeah, I guess like for me, I think because like I travel around quite a lot, perhaps you kind of become a little bit of a chameleon and you pick up lots of different voices along the way. But yeah, I'm very proud to be Cornish.
That's obvious because of the subjects that you're writing about. So tell me a little bit about what made you come into writing in particular, because obviously I'm interested in your authorship. But tell us a little bit about your journey then, how you moved into teaching and how you moved out of teaching.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. So for me, I wanted to go into teaching because I really wanted to be creative. I wanted to do a job that was giving something back to people. And the early years, especially, is such a creative world. So that really attracted me. But my first teaching experience was actually teaching art. So I taught art and design first at a college, which was brilliant. And they were post 16 and they just left school. And their first year of college was to practice artwork and design and art. And it was brilliant. It was a great year. And through that year, I managed to work alongside some primary schools because I took my students to the primary schools to do art projects,
Mm.
which was lovely. And it became like a bit of a weekly thing. And then through that, I just fell in love with the primary school aspect as well. And I thought, actually, this is great fun. And then it led me down to the early years. We were doing a lot of art projects for the early years children. And that kind of was like the way in really into primary school teaching. And that was 10 years ago now, which feels like a lifetime ago in a way. But it was a great time.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had my children, and then when I went into teaching, I went up and taught the teenagers, and
Yeah.
I don't think I could have coped with more children. So, but no, it's very interesting because my both my children are daughters. Both my daughters are teachers, and one is an early years practitioner. She runs a nursery, and so I've often thought about writing for that age group, but it's a particular skill, isn't it? That you need to write appropriately in language and in learning. How did you find that? How did you find changing from working with young people to actually looking at the early years curriculum?
Yeah, that was quite a challenge because especially after COVID now as well, because the children's own experiences are different and their own life experiences are so different because of COVID. And I think for me, it was a chance of it's a new beginning in the early years, it's a new start, everything's fresh and new. So you're quite responsible for introducing children to lots of new worlds, really. So I
Mm.
think for me, it's quite a great place to start because the children are like sponges at that age. They absorb everything around them, which is wonderful. So I
Yeah.
think we have a lot of responsibility as early as practitioners and early as teachers to promote the best and to celebrate the world. And there's a big world out there to learn. And we're all discovering the world, aren't we? a learning one of the learning areas is understanding the world, and that one always used to make me think, well, I don't understand the world as an adult. Do we all understand the world yet? So I think it's important to, yeah, everything's new and a celebration in the early years.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your first book then. Which did you start with?
So my first book is called I Brushed My Teeth with Hair Gel, and that was really fun. I've got it here. That was a fun book to. So it's this one, and it features Cornish Callum, and he is.
Oh yes.
He doesn't always do what he's asked, so he's a little bit cheeky. He kind of doesn't really do what he's told the first time. He likes to do his own thing. He likes to have fun and adventures all around Cornwall. And in this book, he brushes his teeth with hair gel because he makes all kinds of different mistakes because he doesn't go to bed on time. And I think for me, that was something quite important I wanted to tell as a story because I was experiencing lots of children that were coming into my classroom tired, they hadn't had enough sleep. I kind of thought, okay, why is that? And you'd find out perhaps they were playing on the PlayStation or the games all night. And yeah, and it made me think, okay, we can do a story here. There's something to help educate families and children that sleep is really, really crucial and important. I feel now as an adult, like I love sleep. Like sleeping for me is like it's great. So you just need that rest, don't you? And to make yourself feel good the next day. Because one of the taglines in this story is feeling sleepy. When you're feeling sleepy, it's hard. Everything's hard to do. So when you don't feel like you, because you're feeling sleepy.
Oh, I like that. You don't feel like you. That's true. Very true. It's taken me a long time to realize that myself because I tend to not need a lot of sleep. But so you reached a turning point before you started moving away from teaching these lovely children and started producing these books with this wonderful artwork because I do appreciate the artwork. It's lovely. What promoted you then to give up your career with those lovely children?
Yeah, for me, I see it more as a stepping aside rather than like giving up or leaving completely because I still have a foot in education because I still work alongside lots of schools. I do school workshops. I also work with the Writers Block, which is an incredible organisation that help ignite imagination, creativity, storytelling, and we have Little Story Seekers, which is a fantastic it's just an amazing, lovely experience where we go and visit libraries and the children can come to us and we share stories, we bring them to life. So I feel like I'm doing all the best parts of when I was a teacher, but without maybe kind of some of the pressures that teachers are under today. So it was a big step for me leaving that aspect of teaching, so leaving that world, because it was quite a gamble, really. But I feel very blessed to have these other opportunities now, and I'm very grateful for those 10 years because they were fantastic. They were a really great time.
Yeah, pivotal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also when you change a direction, if you see it as a development, even if it's a U-turn, it's a positive because you're still young. Life is going to open up even further for you. It's amazing. Yeah. So sorry, I was going to say what promoted you to move on to your second book? What gave you inspiration for that one? Obviously you explained the first one, but what was the inspiration? Sorry.
That's okay. The inspiration around my second book. So there's something nasty in my pasty. Here's the second book that I wrote.
Now that's very Cornish.
Very Cornish, yes. So a lot of the inspirations here are Cornwall. So I wanted another book about Callum because I did the story with Callum with the hair gel, and the children in my class, the children in my school really enjoyed that, and they enjoyed him. So I thought, well, let's do another one. Let's do another one with Callum. And that book just tends to be very Cornish, really. So it's got lots of pasties, it's got recipes, it's got Cornish quotations. Yeah, so it's another fun book as well because he's a bit silly and he makes some nasty pasties and some pasties that are also delicious. But that was fun. So I wanted a book that was very, very much Cornwall, but at the same time still keeping with those themes of fun. And also it's teaching children not to judge your food. So Callum in
Oh,
the story doesn't like the look of the pasties. He's not sure what's in them, and he just doesn't want to try them. And in my experience, we've had lots of children and parents have said to me that they find it hard sometimes to get their children to eat various meals. And I think that's quite a cool message to say, don't judge our food. And being a Cornish boy, pasties are amazing. So I had to include a book about pasties for sure.
I know. Yeah, yeah. That really fills me with joy. The thought of pasties, and a lot of children obviously don't know how to make pasties, do they? They need to be taught.
That's
But,
right.
so there's some prejudices and some um, approaches and judgments dealt with in that book. So there's a lot of discussion points, aren't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, which are your favourite parts of Cornwall to bring to the eye, to the reader?
Um,
What have you
there's
put in there?
There's so many because Cornwall has everything. We're so lucky because Cornwall's got history, culture, art, creativity, fishing, farming, mining. There's so much. So the
Mm,
language now. There is so much to celebrate with Cornwall. So for me, I grew up outside Camborne Redruth. So for me, Carn Bray is incredibly beautiful
oh,
and special. So
yeah,
that is in my book.
yeah,
And Trevidick Day, which is a day
yeah,
that celebrates Richard Trevidick with his steam engines.
yeah.
That was always such an incredible, wonderful day growing up, and it's such a brilliant community for Camborne. It's Camborne's special day, really. So that's in my book as well, Trevidick Day, and just beautiful places. We have beautiful beaches. Zena is incredible. It's one of my favourite places in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Just isn't it beautiful,
I
Zena? It's
love
just
Zena. Yeah,
it feels like you go back in time when you go to Zena. I
yeah,
feel like you kind of step back in time and you've got the mermaid, which
yeah.
I've got the mermaid of Zena. She features in my story as well. So it's yeah, I would say those places are definitely very special for me. And
Mm,
beaches, those
mm.
secret places. I love secret
That's
places in
that's
Cornwall.
exactly what I was going to say. It's very secret, and there's a lot of smuggling coves and places there. But the history and the Zena of Mermaids, the Mermaids of Zena, really influenced me when I was young because mermaids then became true. They became a fact because I could sit in the chair or see the chair that she sat in the
Of
church. And
course.
for anybody who doesn't know the story, please take a visit.
Oh, definitely. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
And that chair, that bench is beautiful. It's
yeah,
so beautiful. Yeah, visit the mermaid if you get to
yeah.
go to Zena. Go to the
You could
church.
you could you could do a lovely book based on the giants of Cornwall. As I remember from my early years in Cornwall was the idea of German giants striding across the moors and
Oh,
up from
yes.
the sea and in my mind, it really raised a lot of images across the whole terrain. It's a very it's conducive to myth and magic.
And such imagination there, like the thought of giants like stepping over all the moors. It's just, oh, I
Yeah,
love that. I love that so
yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah. We always take the children to St Michael's Mount to find the giant's heart, but
Yes.
my children, grandchildren are a bit old now. But I do recommend if anybody hasn't been to Cornwall that you get yourself down and seek out some giants and
Oh,
some
definitely.
Neolithic stones. Oh, there's just so much. All the surfing, uh,
Oh, yeah.
skills. I don't know. Like you say, you could go on forever. So I'm sure you're going to write a whole plethora of books.
That would be amazing. I've tried to put a little bit of everything in the new book. So in Cornwall Land, you can count them. So this is
Yeah.
the book that has the mermaid. It has steam engines. I've tried to put a little bit of everything Cornish, something for everybody. Hopefully, will like something in this book. There's something for you. So when you talked about the old stones of Cornwall, the Bronze Age stones, they are in here too. So the coins. So there's a lot of heritage, a lot of history.
Mm, yeah. So this is the current book, which I was what I noticed, which drew me to have a conversation with you. So can you tell me what the themes are for this book then? What are you trying to get across to children in this book? One, two,
This
three.
Yes. So this book is a counting book. So you can count from 0 to 10 in Cornish and English. So I wanted a counting book because children are, in the early years especially, they're learning to count. That's one of the things they do, first of all. When they come into school, they're learning to count. And it's that identifying a number to an object for me, I wanted something that children could say, oh, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. And I wanted a book as well that really celebrated Cornwall and all the different aspects of Cornwall, and you could go on a counting adventure. So I'll have a little flip through. So as you go through the book, I like my little this book belongs to me. I wanted that as a pasty. So I was really excited when I thought, oh, I need a pasty. But as you go through the book, you have I have maps to start with. So you have a map in English,
Wonderful.
and a map in Cornish. It's really quite fun to show this as well because I've not shown this before yet. So you can see the Cornish names of the locations and the English names, and lots of these places will pop up in the book. And it's just a chance to go on an adventure, really. So I'll show you the first page. So I'll show you 0. So we have 0 to start with, and we have 0, which is man, and it's 0 people on Gwenver Beach. So for me, I wanted to have an empty beach because when you go to Cornwall, thank you. When you go to Cornwall and you see an empty beach, for me that is like the best. It's just a chance to go. So you're traveling through the book and you'll count different things along the way, really. So I can show you the mermaid as well. So the next page, you find the mermaid. So she's there at Zemmer, sitting down on the rock, and it's just a chance really for children or for anybody to learn Cornish and to just travel through Cornwall. You'll find all kinds of different things, different objects, different characters, and just to fall in love with Cornwall. If you don't know Cornwall, you can learn about it. It's very educational, but at the same time, hopefully very visual and fun.
Yeah, definitely looks it. So these are your illustrations, are they? I like the beach one because we often go out of season, and I think it's such a shame when tourists go down in the middle of season and all they see is packed beaches and queues and very touristy, whereas there's another side. Well, there's the open wilderness of Cornwall, but the beaches are fantastic early morning, especially if you go somewhere like Senham and the mist is coming in. And everybody goes, oh yeah, we won't go to the beach today, and we go, yes, we will. And the sun comes up. So that illustration of yours there is very evocative to me because that's how I see Cornwall and the beaches. For me, I like that. So yeah, so you've done all these illustrations yourself. Did you you went to art college, did you?
I did. So I studied art. When I first left school, I studied art. So I went to Cornwall College and I studied art and design. I did that for about 3 years or so. And then I went into graphic design. So that's using those skills have helped me to design the book format, knowing how to use titles, front covers, spines, all those kind of things to actually physically make the book as well. But yeah, for me, drawing and sketching and painting, I used acrylic paints to create the paintings in this book, and it's just been an escapism for me. I'd say, it helps me, I think, like mentally and physically to sit down and just paint and draw. It's really good for my well-being. It's probably one of the best things I can do to look after me.
I agree. Yeah, I think to be creative is our natural state. And it shouldn't be stressful. But I think when you've got nature around you like that and you're at one with nature, you're happy to be there, then it's very inspiring. So, and you're a man on a mission, aren't you? Because you want to share this with the children and their parents.
I do. I'd love for every primary school in Cornwall to have a copy of the book. That would be a dream. And I would love to visit all the primary schools in Cornwall and do workshops and lots of learning opportunities from the book. It would be brilliant. So if there are any teachers in Cornwall that want to get in touch, then I would love to do that.
Yes, I think that's important. I think people need to know that these books are available. I know when you go to the tourist shops in Cornwall and you see the books available for tourists, they're always very limited. There's not much there that appeals to children, and so I'm sure your books would be very welcome in that scenario as well. Yeah. So
I think it's lovely. I think it's very good to have lots of different books out there for people, and people can choose what's right for them. And I think that's really
mm,
cool.
so what were your biggest struggles then? Because it's not easy getting published, is it? It's not easy to self-publish. So which route did you take, or what were your struggles with the writing or the artwork, and what were your struggles in getting it out there, these books produced?
I think my first kind of struggle was when you first have the ideas to do it. So when you first have your ideas and your inspiration, it's then putting it on paper, taking it to a place to make it a physical thing. So I found that quite challenging at the beginning to sit down and start to get. Sometimes I have all these ideas in my head, and it can be quite hard to get them out. So that's always a little bit of a struggle. But once I've got everything out that I want to say and explain, usually for me, drawing comes first before writing. I like to
Right.
sketch and draw little
Okay.
characters, and then my writing kind of comes from that, which helps me because I then make up little stories and characters around some of the paintings I do, the
Mm,
characters I draw, and that's a good way in. I think for me, a blank sheet of paper I find intimidating. I find a blank sheet of paper really, I find that hard. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need, like, it's almost like it needs to be filled right away. There needs to be something put on it. Whereas I like to think a bit more freely and just create, maybe make something 3D, maybe even just go on a walk or something to get
mm,
inspiration as well.
mm.
And then that piece of paper doesn't become quite so frightening because you'll have inspiration to put onto the page. I
Yeah.
believe that very much, and so that can be a struggle. And I think for me, I self-published all of my books. I wanted that complete creative freedom of the books. I didn't
Mm,
approach any publishers. I've never approached any big publishing houses. I just, I don't know what I. For me, I think it was because I don't know enough about those worlds. If I'm really honest, it's all a little bit unknown to me, and I thought to myself, I want complete creative control of my own ideas, my own stories, my own books, and I want to get them out there in my way. And I didn't want maybe the fear of maybe like other people maybe taking over your ideas or taking
yeah.
over perhaps. And I'm sure that isn't the case with lots of publishers, and I'm sure that I don't know. And like I said, I don't know enough about how publishing houses work. I really don't. So for me, doing it myself has allowed me to just get the book out there in the way that I want to. And
Mm,
also, it gives me that drive to say, yeah, I've done this. I can do this. I've managed to get my book out there myself, and it
mm.
makes me feel proud to think I did it on my own, really.
Yeah.
And then with the support of everybody that wants the book, and so I'm very proud and I'm excited about writing and hopefully creating more books in the future.
Well, yeah, I hope so too. But well done, because it is logistically quite difficult to produce a book, and like you say, from beginning to the actual product in your hand. And it's wonderful. It's exciting. I think every author feels that way, whether they've gone through a publisher's or done it themselves. But I
Yeah,
think when you're somebody like you, it's your baby, isn't it? It's your
yeah,
creativity rather than I'm going to write to sell, or I'm going to have a career as an author. You know, you're very open, aren't you?
yeah,
Um, so I think that's part of it. And it's lovely. It's an allure as well to think that
yeah.
this is something precious to you and
Yes,
something meaningful.
yeah, absolutely. It's been very special to create this project. And like you say, when you have it in your hand at the end, so like when you physically holding it like this,
Yeah.
when they all arrived the other day, when they all arrived in a box, it was like Christmas Day. I was like, wow, I was opening them all up, and it was just I'm really happy with how they've been printed as well because I used leopard print, which are a fantastic company local here, and
Okay.
Greg, he's just an amazing guy, and he printed them for me. He's
Well,
incredible.
that's very important because
Yeah,
sometimes the colour isn't how you envisaged it when
yeah,
it's produced, is it? And
yeah,
when you were talking, I was thinking that's exactly how children feel. When I can remember getting a big book, a big picture book, and opening it when I was tiny. And I think it's really mind-blowing because that can draw that tiny child in so much
Yeah.
better, especially in landscape like that.
Oh,
Wonderful.
I hope
Well done. Well done. So
so. Thank you.
I think the important thing here then is to make it known that your books are available, and how people can contact you if they want you to come and speak in their schools or work with them locally down there. Um, I still think there's room for out of Cornwall exposure, and for people of interest to invite you to speak. I think I don't know how far away from Cornwall you're willing to come, but I think there is a big market for expansion on this. So
Definitely. I'd
exciting.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love that. That would be wonderful. And it's just been so exciting because I've worked with other people with this book as well. So I've worked with Dr. Loveday Jenkin, and Dr. Loveday Jenkin created the Cornish aspects, the Cornish language of my in my book. So because she's an incredible Cornish language speaker, so I wanted when I first designed the book, I wanted to ensure the Cornish language was in the book, and that's something I'm still learning myself. I'm not fluent in the Cornish language at all. I would love to be. That's a future ambition for me. But I wanted to start with the numbers, start with the place names in Cornwall, and Loveday was incredible. So all the Cornish in the book is thanks to Loveday, Dr. Loveday Jenkins. So I want to say a big thank you to her for that.
Yeah, lovely. So, can you tell us your website then? How can anyone get in contact with you, firstly? What's the prime way that you'd like them to contact you or find your book?
Okay, so the best way to contact me is on my website. So that's www.alastairhoswell.com. And also, I'm on Facebook, so people can contact me on Alastair Hoswell, author and illustrator on Facebook. That's quite instant. That's Facebook and social media is a great way to get in touch. That would bring. I would absolutely love to visit schools. I can do talks. I can show the process of how a book is put together, illustrations, workshops around the Cornish language and counting, and Cornish culture, Cornish history. I would absolutely love the opportunity to work with primary schools, libraries, talks, whatever people would love. I would love to come and promote Cornwall and celebrate all the wonderful things we do here in Cornwall.
Brilliant, lovely, thank you. So if you're busy there trying to write that down, the full address and other information of social media contacts for Ali are in the comments on associated with the video here. But it is ALASDAIRHOSWELL.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just in case there's somebody busy writing it down and doesn't get back to looking at the comments. So all the information of contacting Ali is here in this package. And all I want to do really, Ali, is say thank you. I mean, it's really exciting. For me, it's heartwarming. And I was nearly down in Cornwall a couple of weeks ago, but family situation stopped me from going, and I'm going down in a couple of months' time. And maybe we can catch up.
Yeah, that'd be really lovely. We could go for a coffee or something.
Yeah, and a pasty.
Yeah, oh, actually, definitely need a pasty. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much then, Ali. Good luck with your future books and good luck with the progress of this 1, 2, 3. I'm very excited for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for interviewing me. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.